All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Hi, Donica. How are you? I see you there at the bottom of my screen waving. I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend. Um, we are going to do some transitioning, and obviously, a lot of you are joining. So, today we are going to be doing a small portion of talking really about best practices on utilizing the back office documents. And I know that we've gone over the back office before, and a lot of why we wanted to talk about the back office documents and making that almost like a weekly, every few days practice of reviewing is because our team here at HQ, we're constantly updating the back office documents. We're constantly updating a lot of the information for you to utilize and to really run your businesses at the highest level that you can. And so Duquesne and I and Dylan, we thought that it would be really good to dive into this because we've had a few conversations with individuals about back office documents, and we really feel like there was not necessarily a miss, but it wasn't being leveraged in a manner that we felt like could really help put some better emphasis on that. And
Can I
so,
check a couple things, Patrick, just because
yeah,
I'm curious about this? Um,
I think you're
because
going to
I
do
feel
what I
like
was about to do. Go ahead.
the back end documents seem like a thing that everyone might feel like is boring, and oh, we've talked about this plenty of times. But I am curious. Um, can you raise your hand or leave a comment if you are a new ambassador in 2024, or let's say within the last 6 to 9 months, you become an ambassador? I'd be very curious. I see one.
See, Donica,
Yeah. So
go
either raise
ahead. You can also use Zoom to raise
two.
your hand.
Yeah.
There I see Luis. Awesome. I love to see some new folks here. Maria,
Three. Or you can leave a comment too. Four.
got two people. I also see some OGs on the call, so that's
Uh-huh.
actually two. So
There's
actually,
another.
Kane did exactly what I was looking to do. Is one, I wanted to get a test to see how many individuals are new, but also how many people have utilized the back office documents. And then I wanted to put a couple people on the spot, and really, I wanted to get a share on if you have used the back office documents, what have you used it for? And so let's start there. So anyone can unmute themselves if you will. Raise your hand first so that we can keep it a little bit organized. But I'd love to hear from anyone what you have used the back office documents tab for. Yes, Dylan.
Well, I like to go to events and have those documents ready when I'm at events. That way, if someone's asking me questions about products and it's more quickly, or if they can't stay around for the entire spiel, sometimes what I like to do is hand them those documents. That way, they have paperwork to take home. They can see what the products are about and see what the dosages are, the descriptions, and we have a cool one called the presentation document. But that's what I like to do with them.
Love that. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for kicking us off. You got two people to raise their hands after you, so good job. Donica, go ahead and unmute yourself. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I hope everyone is doing well. So until now, the reason why I used back office documents was mainly when we created some brochures because we wanted for the new customers, the new community who was coming to get Root products, to get some basic information about the main products. And then each time we would hear about a case or maybe have a specific question about something, we would always, first of all, try to get that response in the documents that are in the back office and then complement it with the people and the experts around.
That's actually a great answer. Thank you so much for that. So I think you hit on a couple of really interesting points. So what I want to highlight, and then we'll go to you, Claire, is one, the back office documents tab was really um something that I saw as a gap when I first joined the company, and I think Joni's on the call, but it really stemmed from like Joni and I talking and working together of like coming up with a way in which we can control not only how the brand looks and feel, but also the information that is provided. Because in the beginning, for those of you who have been with us for quite some time, it was really kind of like the wild, wild west with information about the products. And it was really like you would have the website, but you wouldn't really have anything else that would help kind of arm you, if you will, for your business to share with individuals. And so I want to talk about consistency within the back office documents and why it's so important, because to stay on brand, so many of you that have been in the business world know that our brand image, so like font, style, colors, Pantones, things of that nature are very true to what you see with the root brands and or Billingku and or Rom Roast, and staying very true to that in how we're putting our name and our face and our image and likeness out into social media and on the website. The other thing is that compliance is a really, really big aspect of sharing. And I know that Donica and Claire, you guys are all in different countries. And so leveraging the ability of not only the translation tool that Dylan has worked really, really, really hard at, making sure that everything is always translated in all, what, like 12 languages now, 13, I think, is that being consistent and having the messaging be compliant in that language's government is the highest importance. Sorry about that, folks. Is the highest importance that I think really is the precipice of why the back office documents tab is so important. So, Claire, I know that you did have your hand raised. I'd love to hear from you about some ways in which that you use the back office documents.
I use the back office for the PDFs. I have them all downloaded so that if anyone needs any information, I have the PDFs I can either send to them or I can bring them up on my computer. I can talk to them and tell them the exact information that the company has. I don't want to give people fake information, so I give them information that is approved by the company. Also, the what is it, BSCG?
Yep.
I
The
have,
certifications. Yep. That's great.
and I also downloaded the compensation plan so that I could learn it for myself.
I love that. Thank you very much for sharing those examples. Those are great. Some other aspects. Thank you, Suzanne. I see your hearts. Thank you for that, Claire. I also wanted to share a little bit in which, and we'll go and we'll dive through the back office tabs and I'll share my screen and show you. But I really wanted to have this type of a conversation with a lot of the ambassadors because I love having open discussions, especially with new leaders, with existing leaders. And so I'd really love to hear from maybe one of our platinum or gold leaders that maybe some ways in which how they're utilizing it. But the other aspect that I wanted to bring up, what makes the back office tab document so important, is that from an HQ perspective, we really try our hardest to make sure that we're putting the back office document tab with a new product. And so let's just say, for example, like the new 3-step peptide program that we're working on. So we're probably a ways away from launching that. But right now, HQ is hard at work coming up with the PDP information, the marketing cut sheets, images of the product, so that you guys are prepared and ready, so that when that product goes live, you're able to share that with your communities and promote that to help expand your business and have better conversations. And then the last thing that I want to talk about that I really don't think is being leveraged, and maybe it is, and I just don't know about it, but what I really want to make a point is that Dylan brought up a really good point about the back office, the root presentation. And what I think really is a huge leveraging tool, if not probably the best tool to, because everyone here is an ambassador, right? And there's only one of you. And so how often can you do a call with 5 or 6 people every single day, every couple of hours. And that's why when we had that interview with the Now Site VP of marketing, was really talking about creating this webinar where you pre-record yourself going through the presentation deck and maybe breaking that up into the different companies, whether that's Rom Roast, whether that's Bill and Coo, or whether that's the Root brands, and using those pre-recordings to constantly be running in a pre-recorded webinar so that anyone can join through your lander or link that you send out, and they're able at their leisure watch you give that presentation. So I'll dive a little bit deeper into this. For example, and I see Jill right now at the top of my screen. We'll get to you in a second. Let's just say Jill doesn't have the time to do like hundreds of webinars every week. But you know what she can do is that she can do a really good job of getting herself ready, getting herself in somewhat of a studio. She can run through the PowerPoint presentation deck while talking, right? Like in a setting where I'm just talking to myself, and then cut that and use that recording forever until she wants to update it and change it. And she's just got a system set up where it's capturing new customers and it's literally going through like they think it's a live presentation with you. And if they want to find out more, they can click the link, or they can click a buy now, or they can go to the website and purchase the product. And then you also talk about what your code is on that pre-recorded webinar. So that's just another tool and another way in which that you can utilize. But back to the original point is we're constantly updating that aspect of the documents tab, and we're constantly building that out and trying to make it look better and more appeasing, and the ability for you to use it in a marketing sense. Jill, I want to not forget, I know you had your hand raised. I can't see you anymore wherever you are, but go ahead and unmute yourself. I'd love to hear from you.
Hello, I unmuted myself.
There you are.
Hi. Okay, so well, you took a lot of my good tips, and that's okay, but that's okay. So one of the things I've been trying to encourage my community to do is exactly what you said, which is to present from that document, because you can't get the wording wrong.
Yes.
When you read right from that document, you are spot on. You don't have to question yourself, and you don't have to remember. It's all there for you. So just walk through that. It has beautiful images. Feel free to send it. But I would really love, I've been trying to encourage my community. What if we did this once a week, invited people, and we had rotating people in the community doing it? So you could do it once a week live if you didn't want to do the recorded webinar. But a couple of other things that just small tips that I use for people. I will often have people register a free account simply to access the documents. Like, I can send you an amazing PowerPoint. All I need you to do is register a completely free account, no strings attached. I'm not making you buy anything. This is free, but by registering the account, that's how it opens up this tab and you can see the PowerPoint. And even if I'm going to go over it with them one-on-one, now that I know, because what happens during the PowerPoint then, I don't have to worry about, here's my code, use my code, make sure you're using my code, don't Google it. I don't want to lose you. They're already registered. They already have your code. So now at the end, you can simply focus on your Q&A to be all about the product, Dr. Rom, what you do, how you take it, what it's done for you, and outcomes, not testimonies. But they are already registered, and it really takes that pressure off from having to say, don't forget to use my code, which is, it feels MLM-y. It's not, but I think that's everybody's biggest hang up is saying my code, my link. Well, if they just free register, then you go over the presentation. It's all done.
I actually love that. I think that's a great idea. And to Jill's point is, it takes a lot of the hand holding that you have to do to ensure. So you're capturing somebody to make sure that they sign up under you in order to you to be able to stay with them and coach them and help them. And I'm not saying that just because somebody doesn't sign up under you that we shouldn't try and reach out and also give a helping hand to them. But it really helps take that, like, sometimes a lot of people, and I think you're right, Jill, they get tripped up, or they get like, they have this gross feeling of like, hey, make sure you use my code, or make sure you sign up under me. I want to get credit for you. And it takes a lot of that. And I'm not saying that's what we should be saying, it takes a lot of that weirdness out
Mhm.
when it gives the opportunity to them. The other thing that I wanted to share that I think is really important is that a lot of you have your way of being able to explain this certain documents. Thank you, Duquesne, if that was you. And to Jill's point, there is a lot that you can, like, I guarantee you that if Duquesne, myself, and then Jill did 3 separate presentations on the presentation deck that we probably, and we didn't have any bullet points, you would probably get 3 different types of presentations, right? You would get 3 different types of, well, this is what I think, these are the products that I like, and this is what I think this product benefits me personally. And you'll get something different from Jill and something different from Duquesne. To Jill's point, this keeps you on track to where you can stick to what the bullet points are telling you. And then at the end, you're ad-libbing, so you're not reading directly from the page, and you're able to go off cuff a little bit and share so that it's enticing to the person that's listening. And then they're very, very interested in what you have to say because they'll find what they're going to take as their key takeaway.
Patrick, for
Yes.
something with your codes and stuff, I think an easier way to do that, we've talked about it before, but using QR codes, if you want to use our presentation documents for our product documents in a presentation that we've already made, a good thing I think would be is to add a QR code at the end of the presentation or add a QR code on a sheet for a product description, and you hand those out. That way it's not here, type this code in at the end of checkout, but as soon as they scan it, it's just the website and the code's already populated there. That way, if you're doing a presentation to 20 people, the last slide has your QR code. The product documents have the QR code you're handing out in person. It's automatically done for you. So there's no awkward feeling of I'm asking them to type a code in, which feels MLM-y. It's just an automatic link to our website.
Great. Great point, Dylan. The next question that I want to propose that could really stir up is that what questions do we have about the back office documents and that tab back there that maybe are a hiccup for you? What questions do you have? Because a lot of the ideas that Duquesne and Dylan and I can really share with you about how to utilize them gets spun up from you guys asking a proposed question. Hey, Clay.
Can I raise my hand?
And I want to know if you are having difficulties and not knowing kind of where to go. Let's talk about it so that we can expand upon that, because often a lot of great ideas come from that. So Donica, I'll go ahead and have you on mute, and then I think Clay, he disappeared from me, but go ahead, Donica.
Okay.
Where are you? There you are.
So can I?
Oh, you shall
Well,
go.
thank you. Thank you. So I have a lot of questions about side effects and how to adapt this to specific situations. So of course, until now, I've consulted Leonora and Erica, but maybe since like the dosage and everything else is pretty standard for everyone, but maybe how the dosage could be adapted to specific cases. So this is like the main questions I had until now is that, for example, if I take 2 zeroings in a day, I'm having a kind of a blur seeing something. But if I say that this is going to happen 2 days and afterwards it's going to be fine, just to maybe have something written, how to adapt the dosage to everyone in correspondence to how they are feeling while they are in products. Am I being clear?
You are being very clear, and here's my point that I would share, and I'm sure Clay probably has a lot to say about this, is the problem that we have with that is that I can look at my first screen here and I have Jill, I have Dylan, I have Sam, I have Duquesne, is that because of all our products being natural and all natural ingredients, is that if Duquesne took 2 and Clay took 2 and then I took 2, it could affect each and every one of us very, very differently. And so for us to come up with, like, I don't want to call it a side effect, but really the result of taking the product the outcomes are going to be very, very different, especially depending on your diet, your location and where you live, your health, what other products you could be taking. And so, Clay, I don't know if you have anything that you
Well,
wanted to add.
you hit on, I mean, you're talking pharmacology,
Yeah.
right? And this is something that's really important to understand. And one, to go back to what was talked about with having the access to the information. What Jill mentioned is actually one of the greatest ideas. Just give people a link. Say, here, go to the rootbrands.com/X and just create an account. So then you can get into this stuff. And while you're at it, you should go to ISNS and do the same thing. If you want real clinical case studies, our core principle is all around education, right? And you guys have access to information that is honestly the most advanced in the entire healthcare industry. Notice I didn't say the nutritional supplement industry, in all of healthcare, right? So if someone is really interested in getting and making the investment into themselves, giving them access to what we already have to offer is the best thing you can do, right? So there's that. When it comes to outcomes, if I give someone Viagra, if I give Patrick Viagra, I give Alfred Viagra, I give Regina Viagra, Claire Viagra, Marcus Viagra, and me Viagra, you're going to have different outcomes, right? Somebody might have a heart attack. Somebody might get priapism. Somebody might get really excited. Someone might die, and someone might have a hard time. The same thing goes with using strategically designed nutraceuticals that are designed by a bioscience engineer. And let me differentiate why other nutritional supplements don't
Can I
come with these.
clarify? Wait, Clayton, just real quick, because we're translating stuff. None of our products cause heart attacks.
No.
You need to, I know, but
Viagra
Clayton,
can.
you just got to be, okay, finish your point. You got to be
So
clear.
with when people are taking other nutritional supplements, you really don't need to have this level of understanding, because most of them are trash. They're garbage. They don't do anything. Even with a specific ingredient, the type of ingredient, the quality of the ingredient, the quantity of the ingredient, and especially if it's a single ingredient, is most likely not going to provide the outcomes or provide any benefit to the individual taking it. Now, if you take Clean Slate, Zero In, Restore, Relive, Give Me Back My Youth, Natural Barrier Support, Immune Defense Shield, Sculpt, Crush, you're going to get an effect, right? I can tell you what's happening to my body right now, because I've been using the majority of those longer than all of you. And I use all of them. Natural barrier support, not as much as I should, because I don't eat in the morning and do not take that on an empty stomach. But what Sculpt and Crush are doing to me, and I actually got to do my third workout of the year. It's July. I've worked out 3 times. My body, my figure is going back to what I look like in my 20s. And I'm not working out. Now, if I started working out, Dylan and I could start training together. No, I won't do that. But
So Donica, does that make sense? And I
you
think
can't, you can't.
Totally,
can't
we
compare-
are in the same approach. I give the same approach. It's just that sometimes it depends of the countries and mentality, and they need this written support. And I understand. I always, as I said, I always ask the feedback from Leonora, Erica, and everyone. So it's double confirmed by them. We are in the same line of explaining these things. But yes, sometimes some people.
Patrick.
One of-
Same thing as before, and I will make sure to talk at a good pace, Duquesne, as to not confuse the translators. If you take the dosage guidelines for each one of our products, you can change those documents to each individual. So that way, if you have someone who's a child or they're buying it for children, maybe you change our 0 in dosage guideline to reflect that new person you're signing up. And you can keep doing that, but the baseline dosage guidelines found in our back end office is a umbrella for everyone that you personally can change and adapt.
And I also, to Dylan's point, wanted to make sure that we all have access on this call, our science department. And so if there is, to Dylan's point, I don't want anyone here, and I don't want to say prescribing, but giving a dosage protocol for somebody that, let's just say, a pregnant mother, or let's just say a child that's 2 years old. I know for me, I have a 5 and 7-year-old, and I'll break open a capsule of 0 in and I'll put it in their oatmeal. They're my children, though. Please, 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 always science@therootbrands.com and ask that question, which will go to our doctor group so that we can get you an effective answer, so that you can get a firm approach of, hey, this woman is in her second trimester. This is what we recommend, but please also check with your physician. Or a child that weighs, 70 pounds, that is 8 years old. We really want to make sure that we stick to the science department about that. So hopefully that answers your question, Donica.
Yes, thank you very much. I just need like extra documentation and like to back up what we already say.
Yep.
But yeah, I just want like to do this properly and give the most information that we can. Because when it's from the root brands, it's taken more seriously, and that's why I did this question. So thank you guys. I
Well,
will
you know
just
what's
that.
also really interesting, and you just made me think of a point, is that you can do a lot of this legwork yourself, which is really easy. And I know that we've gone through, and this is going to be another future call that we're going to talk about, is really how to leverage our YouTube channel. Is that you can go and look up on our YouTube page. So you can go to the rootbrands.com YouTube, sorry, not the root brand, the YouTube / the root brands. You can go to our page and use the magnifying glass to search for 0 in. You can find all the corresponding videos that talk about 0 in. And I guarantee you that there's one on there where Clayton talks about 0 in and, athletes, or 0 in and children, or what have you. And if there's not, I guarantee that there's something on ISNS. But you can attach that URL link to the dosage guidelines, to Dylan's point, and say, hey, here's a corresponding video that's talking about what you're looking for, so that when you're sharing that with your customer, your ambassador, your community, you're sharing a document that they can watch at their own leisure, along with something that is, like hard copy of like, this is what we recommend for your dosage. But everyone's different, so please understand that you need to listen to your body. And if you don't get the answer that you're looking for, please reach out to science@therootbrands.com. They'll get back to you in a short amount of time and give you the protocol in which what you're looking for, or a good guideline to that. Does that make sense?
And the
Totally,
big
thank
thing,
you.
if people want more science and they want data and they want something that they can trust, we have a collaboration with the International Science Nutrition Society.
Yes.
And if you want proof and you want validation, send people there. And here, I'll give you some insight. If people complain about, oh my God, I have to spend $20 to get a membership, give them your login and password. Let them get in it for free so they can see it, because you're paying for a membership. I don't care. The organization doesn't care. It's about getting the data. And if you guys are members of ISNS, you can publicly share that information if you're a member. So there's two keys to this. One, each of us is unique. So you have to be willing to invest in yourself 2 ways. One, you should understand what you have access to and figure out what you can and should be using for yourself to improve your own health and performance. 2, you should have an understanding of what you have access to, because even with stuff that you might not use the way that it is possible to being used, you might come across people that could use what you have access to in a different way than you do. Let me give you an example.
Clay, just real quick. I know, so I want to let you give your example, but I do want to make sure we talk about back-end documents and we don't get too far off topic, because
Well,
the
I was gonna
ISS
tie
is a
it-
great topic and we
I was
can
going to
probably
tie
do
it back
training on
into the
that.
documents.
Okay. Yes.
So if you're an athlete, right, and maybe you're the person that they're talking to that's one of our ambassadors, one of you, isn't an athlete anymore, right? Maybe you're not competing as a professional. If you don't understand what zero in can do for an elite athlete, and what sculpt can do, and what crush can do, and what restore can do, and what clean slate can do for an elite athlete, and you just say, well, I only use a little bit of that, or I only use this, you're doing them a disservice. You're missing out on opportunities because you're not educating yourself, and you're not investing in something that is going to pay you massive dividends, right? Because people think that investments involve money. You don't have to spend money to invest here, and you can have returns that are greater than any investments you're going to make, bigger than Bitcoin, especially when Bitcoin goes to zero. So if you spend time in your back office going through the documents, looking at the PDPs, taking some time to go through the YouTube channel, watching some of the videos, asking questions, not just here, but of people on socials. And as Patrick was talking about, one of the things that's made people really successful on social media is just talking. Each of you has a different story, right? And you are each an imperfect piece to a perfect puzzle. But if you look at any puzzle, some of the pieces look alike at times. Your story, your experience is not unique to you. There's 8 billion people out there. Your experience is not your own. There are people that are looking for the solutions that you're probably going to be talking about. And I can't have the same conversation that Regina is going to have. I can't have the same conversation that Hans Petter would have, right? We have different audiences. And the important part is just creating the content and learning to speak about it. Just be honest. Whatever your reason was, whatever your mission is, whatever your purpose is, those are the things that you should be talking about. Those are the things that you should be sharing. Those are the outcomes that are important. You don't want to be me. You don't want to talk like me. I'll tell you, that won't do you very well. People don't like me. But it's being able to share your personal experience and what makes your experience unique with what you've learned, what you found. That's what people want, right? And as you talk, you'll become more comfortable in what you're talking about. You might even find that, you know what? I was spending time in my back office and I was looking at what zero in does for dopamine and serotonin. And you know what? The Olympics are coming up. And I saw that, Olympians are depressed. Elite athletes get depressed often, right? Because they get such a rush of dopamine when they're training that when they're not training, they actually suffer from depression because the highs and lows are so crazy. And you look at mental, and then you say, man, I was looking at mental health and performance, and this is kind of cool. I love having zero in because I can crush it at work. I can crush it at home, right? That you figure out what your talking points are. What I just said is an absolute fact, right? So it just comes down to what you want to share and how you want to talk about stuff and what your experience is, right?
So with that aspect, here we go. I love doing this view.
This is Patrick's favorite thing. I don't know how to do this.
Patrick, can you go to the home screen first and then get to the screen, please?
I would love to. I had it set up like that, and then I went into the document. So
this makes Ginger Keanu look even better.
it's funny because I can only see where I am. I can't see where I am on the page. So
yeah, you can only see black behind you.
Yeah. This is really where every week you should be doing a check-in to go through to make sure that you get to your documents tab. So we're going to go right here to documents. And you're going to see this nice long list. I think it's up over that way. Of all the different drop downs. So each one of these pluses are going to give you a lot more information. And I was actually just going through some, and I had completely forgot that some of the ones that we added here, which is this little goodie that a lot of people might not know is there, is Dr. Keshkesh, the presentation that he did on athletes. So that's a really good one that was added there so that you guys can talk through the benefits of athletes and
Hold
what
on,
that
hold on.
do.
Can I interrupt you real quick on that? Can you pull that up real quick, just real quick again?
Yeah.
Can you just scroll down? Oh, right. No, go back up one. Go back up one. Go back up one. Up one more. Right there. Stop right there. You notice the year of that? We knew we were doing things in elite athletes 2 freaking years ago. What we're doing is not new. It's just new to those that are not aware.
So what's really great is that, and what Dylan has really done, which is a phenomenal job, is really breaking this down in aspects that's going to allow you to know where something is going to be. Whether you're looking at from a compliance, and that's our video with our German lawyer, to marketing assets and materials that you can use that are going to benefit you when you go to an event. You know, the how to use products, that page. And then I wanted to go in depth a little bit, and then I'll check in with Dylan and Duquesne to see if I'm missing anything. Is that, think of this. So when you see the 6-foot stretch table cover, the 10-foot fabric display, this is really to, if you're doing a booth like a biohacking event, or if you're looking to maybe get a step and repeat and you're doing an event. You know, I know Henrik and Stephanie do a lot of events in Germany. Maybe they're looking for something. And I think I saw in some images that they do have that step and repeat, that these are there for you to download and then send that file to a local printer. And then they can print that for you. And that's under the guidelines and the sizing that is what's expected. And so I know that I've spoken a little bit about this, and we're trying to come up with a good way of really managing from a brand perspective to ensure that you guys get brand approved materials. And until we get there, we have to come up with a way that where we can create an order sheet and that you guys place an order for a particular, whether it's, you know, approved by Dr. Almond Clay, whether it's a brochure, t-shirts, booth material, anything that you can use, pens, books, you can place that order and have it then shipped to you that you are basically just going to incur the cost for. This is where you can find all that information, whether it's the panel, the root logo, and we've been slowly chipping away at this. And a lot of times this has been built out because somebody has asked, hey, can I get this logo? Or, hey, can I get this document? It's like, oh, you know what? That's actually a great idea. Let me throw that into the back office documents page. And we have this built out so that you guys can really leverage your businesses. And it's in all of these languages so that you can start leveraging that community in that country. I want to have a quick check-in just to make sure that we're still kind of in that mentality. I see some chats coming through. Dylan, Duquesne, you guys got anything to add? Great. So I want to also go through, because this was also just updated, and we just updated and changed this for the look and feel to really match kind of the mission. This is really one of the most underutilized documents that we have that I think can really benefit everyone in such a huge manner, because it gives you the ability to, like Jill and I were talking about, to display and talk about the products in a way that it's all right there. And I think this is the most underutilized part of what we have for ambassadors to not only talk about, but to educate themselves on really quick ways. Because a lot of in like sales, it's like ABC, always be closing, right? What's your elevator pitch? And what's really honed, and I'd say Dylan and Duquesne and myself, is that you have a limited window when you're at an event where somebody is approaching the desk or the table or where you're at, or let's just say you go to a networking, you have a small window of time in which you can tell them what you do, tell them what makes you different, and tell them why the products are unique. And this is a great tool that you can utilize to help arm yourself with the knowledge of being able to think on the time and spit out items that are going to keep somebody engaged, capture their attention, and also know your audience. And Dylan does a phenomenal job at this, is that Dylan can know and read somebody so well that he knows what items and what products he's going to pitch to them. So Dylan does a really good job when we're at events of like, oh, I'm going to talk to this person about Give Me Back My Youth, Crush, and Sculpt. Or I'm going to talk to this guy about Zero In because he looks like he's an athlete. And I think everyone needs to do a better job at utilizing this document to help arm themselves with the information that they're going to need to spread. So I
Great.
want to make sure that anybody doesn't have any questions. I'll stop sharing really quick just to kind of bring everybody in, make sure that we give an opportunity for anyone to ask a question. And Dylan, you can also share as well.
I would like to just share real quick 4 questions. That document, I think we talked about it before, talks about the company overview, the root brands, Clean Spirits line, Ella Pure, Mercy Dupree. It goes through each one of our lines and gives you descriptions about them and each one of the products in the lines, and Romrose, sorry, Duquesne. It talks about all the brand companies. So let's say you want to talk about something as an overview of what they can buy on the root brands, send them the full document and talk through the whole thing. But what you could also do is you can pinpoint, like Patrick's saying, sorry, I'll talk slower. You can pinpoint what people would want to see. Let's say you want to talk to a bar or a restaurant owner about putting the Clean Spirits line into their restaurant. You can pick that out of that presentation, and you can send them that specifically to tailor your communication to them with that.
That's actually a really great point to what Dylan was saying, is that you guys can take that PDF presentation and pluck out 4 pages from it. So you can pull out the Bill and Coup, you can pull out the Romrose deck and cater your presentation to whomever you're meeting with. Because, and we say this a lot to the community, and I talk about this about when we're sharing a code about don't send somebody to the home page of the website. It's very overwhelming. Send them to a pack, send them to a product, talk to them about a specific product and share that with them, because it's very overwhelming. We have what, 23 coming up with almost 25 products now with the new 3-step peptide. Is that you have to find what fits with what you're saying and what is going to fit the person that you're pitching to. Because it's not about you, it's about them. And you have to gear how you're talking to what is going to interest them. So I want to reach out to the community right now, make sure I see some chats coming in. Does anyone have any questions, or does anyone have an area where they want to focus on or ask a question about? Go ahead and raise your hand or unmute yourself and go ahead and chat.
I want to add one thing.
Go.
So what you hit on with Dylan being so good, I'm going to give you the 2 secrets that Dylan has. It's not great hair and a tremendous mustache. He's, one, spent a lot of time studying things that he's passionate about, right? Which is what has allowed him to understand the products, and he's using them. And 2, he listens to people. He asks questions. If you ask someone questions and you listen to them, they'll tell you exactly what they want. You could ask someone a real simple question. I'm gonna have girls actually do the math on this for me so I can show this to you that I'm not crazy. I asked this to my 10-year-old nephew when they were here last week. Do you like eating veggies? It's like, no. I'm like, great. Did you know you can take a half a teaspoon of this and it gives you everything you need every day? Right? But have you taken the time to go through a bottle of Relive Greens and just maybe went on what is it, some of the online shopping cart things Instacart or whatnot, so you don't have to go to the grocery store to do it because you can do this online now. Have you taken a bottle of Relive Greens and just taken all the ingredients and even just put in your cart a couple servings of each of those that are on there? Not a whole month's supply of each one, but a few servings, maybe, broccoli. Okay, great. How many heads of broccoli are you going to have on there? Put 5 heads of broccoli and some spirulina and gone through and put all that stuff together and then given yourself an idea of how much you're going to spend to get all of that on a monthly basis. Or you get Relive Greens that is strategically combined and detoxified because of a patent on lectin removal and some of the other components that you're getting. And someone's like, this is expensive. Well, you're not going to need all that anymore. I'm actually going to show you how to save money. And statistically, what's known, healthy people are more productive. Healthy, happy people make more money. That's scientific fact. So does that mean taking 0N in the morning and the afternoon can make you more money? Yes, because 0N makes you happy. 0N makes you more productive. 0N will make you money. So you can spend $3.20, $1.60 a pill, and make more money. Now, what happens if you're an elite athlete? And maybe you're a sprinter like I used to be. And maybe it's an Olympic year. And maybe you're already competitive. Maybe you're one of the top 5 in the world. And the biggest thing that hits elite athletes is stress. And you're in the Olympics. And maybe you have a bad day. Well, that's going to cost you millions. Because if you're the fastest person in the world, but you don't react well, you just lost out on becoming legendary and losing millions of dollars in endorsements. But what happens if you take a couple 0N and you're lit up like a Christmas tree and you've taken the time to look at the deck that Dr. Keshkesh did on an Olympic champion already and her reaction time improved by 50% in 2 weeks? And well, if I take this, I'm going to get quicker and I'm going to get faster. And my entire sport, my entire existence is based on being quicker and faster. So that $3.20 could make you millions. Is there value in that? It's all in your perspective, but it all comes down to listening to people. Because the greatest athletes in the world right now all have the same problem. They're all head cases. Every one of them. You might be able to make a jump shot 100 times in a row from 16 feet with no pressure. Put somebody in a game and make it a championship game, they're going to choke. Euro final, England finished second again, which is great. They shouldn't win anything except maybe bangers and mash contest because they're good at that. The more you invest in yourself, the more you're going to understand how you can be of service to others. If you're unwilling to do that, don't complain about what you don't have, because you're given all of the tools you could ever dream of. We're all given the same tools. The only difference is some people have done more work than others. And just because you haven't started yet doesn't mean you're behind, because you too are an imperfect piece to a perfect puzzle, right? Each of us has an opportunity to have an impact on people that the others don't. The only way you're going to find those is to make the effort. That's it. And that's the key. Because if you're not willing to invest in yourself, no one else is going to invest in what you have to say or what you do, because you're not going to be interesting. You're not going to have any value. Think about that.
We're coming up on the end here, and I wanted to go over 2 last points. I see you smiling, Duquesne. First off, I put in the chat, and I want to give a special treat because everyone here not only has been on the call for 52 minutes, but you guys are also attending. And so we ran a test with our platinum group, and a lot of you are very much involved with one Now site, which if you don't have a Now site and you're not actively using a Now site, you should. I think we're going to schedule a call the first week of August with Now site again to go in depth more about Now site and maybe a refresher. But we ran a test, and so I just shared with you some videos that we've used on the Romro social media app that you guys can utilize and repurpose and share that were done by our lovely graphics and marketing team here at HQ. So some recipe videos, and mostly they're about the Rom roast. So for being here and attending the call, check the link in the chat and take a look at that, and feel free to utilize and repurpose those videos. And if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to Duquesne, or I, more so Duquesne, about that, and maybe copy or some assistance if you are looking for that. So thank you very much for joining the call today. Second, I wanted to bring everyone the attention because I know that we put it in the weekend report, but we did update the Root Rewards plan. That is up and ready. And that is also a really good opportunity for you guys to refamiliarize yourself with not only the new QPAR aspects that Clay has unlocked for everyone, but also the criteria in which where now the new comp plan is in place and is running. And I think over the weekend, we also updated, I'm almost positive, Dylan, if you can check if you're still on the call, or Duquesne, the RPS page has been updated to reflect the new $350 extra token for orders over, is it two, why am I drawing a blank? It's
Yes, 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 I can confirm that. I saw the
Thank-
server.
Thank you, Donica. So that is also up to date as well. So the point of this being is that above me or over here this way, all of these new documents are constantly being updated, and we're constantly refreshing them. We're always updating, we're always adding new, and we're actually in the process of doing a little bit of a refresh on some of these. And so what I wanted to do is to really just share that they're there. If there's something you're potentially looking for or you don't have access to, look, we're here to support you. You are an extension of our marketing team. And for us to support you with the proper documents and the ammo that you need to help better your businesses, we want to do that for you. And so, but we won't know unless you reach out or request or ask. A lot of this has come from great conversations with ambassadors and ambassadors asking questions.
Patrick,
So
you keep going. Can you show your screen one more time? I know you're about to close it out, but I want to clarify a couple locations on things
yeah, go.
because we
Where-
talked about
tell me.
some. So the product marketing cut sheets will include all of the Root Brands products and descriptions for those. The Bill and Coup section will have the dosage guidelines, supplement facts, and the product descriptions for all the Bill and Coup items. Same thing with the Clean Spirits. And we try to tailor these to be brand specific. So you have Clean Spirits and you have Rom Roast as well. And like Patrick was saying, we update these. So if you can't find something, it's probably in a separate folder. Because I've been asked quite a few times where certain product documents are because I can't find them for the Root ones. The Root Brands documents will be together and each brand separated. That was for ease of access. That way you can see all the information per brand right at your fingertips. And I want to mention two more things because it kind of came up in the past 2 weeks.
Great
We
point.
have ambassador guidelines and third-party guidelines also found back here in case you have people who want to become third-party resellers, or if you have someone who's using Google Ads, referral landing pages like Now Site, we have advertisement guidelines that you can find back there as well. And everything spells out pretty specifically what you can and cannot do in those guidelines. So I just want to make sure everyone knew where those specific documents were.
Great point. So, to really close out our call, because I know we're at time here, is one, we're here to support all of our ambassadors, which is why we're constantly evolving. And for those of you who have been with the company for quite some time, you know that that page has really been, an evolution of just requests. And as we create new documents, we're just trying to spread it amongst everyone. The difference is, though, is that each of you are running your businesses differently and have the ability to utilize these documents in such a different manner. Because Suzanne, Regina, Donica, Albert, everyone that's on my first page, you are all running your businesses different and have the ability to do it. But what Clayton has provided you with tools such as NowSite, with the back office documents, with really leveraging the sign up process, it's giving you so many tools in your arsenal to utilize that you can pivot at a moment's notice if somebody, one, asks a question, pushes back, or capturing new customers that you might not have been able to capture that you're not directly right in front of in that moment. So with that being said, Clay, you got any closing words?
I miss you guys. We're gonna be in Italy in a couple days. Roland, I miss you. You look great, bro. I like the I like it. When are we going to a place called Germany, Patrick?
I don't think it's been clarified, but we could be looking in September.
I
know
think
we're
there's
gonna
a
see
huge
we're seeing
event coming in September in Germany.
Danica is we're gonna see her in September. Let's go, Kosovo.
We are so excited over here about this. I just like can barely say it, but yeah, we are very excited, guys.
Also, I think we're going to be having a Mexico country call. So for those of you that have ambassadors or customers or have influence in Mexico, we're looking at Guadalajara as potentially doing an event somewhere around the September, like the fall time. And so we're going to be doing some country calls. I know we just had one with France last week that went very, very well. So please make sure that you're communicating, reaching out. I know that a lot of, like with Donica, we're working directly with her about inviting, bringing attendees, working with surrounding countries. With that being said, we are looking at leveraging our ambassadors to assist us with some of these events and helping us organize so that when Dr. Ram and Clay attend, it's really that people are coming to listen to Dr. Ram talk. And then afterwards, we're registering those customers, we're signing them up, we're selling product, we're introducing them to all the products that we have. And it's really just a free for all on what can be done, especially in these newer countries that have just opened up. Donica, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to add, actually, whenever you have these events in other countries, to inform us sooner, because, for example, I have lived in France before. I speak French, and whatever exchange is it in that country, I can inform my friends or like even participate myself and see more about how things are going on in another country. So it would be enriching for me. So yeah, whenever you have
Absolutely.
the chance to share those information, I will do my best to share it elsewhere.
Yeah, the
Donica-
French call was a little bit of like a gun shy. We decided to do it on a Monday to have it on Wednesday because it was requested by a couple, but we'll do a better job of putting it on the weekly newsletter.
Monday is never a good idea in France, believe me.
What language are we supposed to speak in Kosovo? Is it Kosovese?
No, it's Albanian actually.
Let's go.
Okay.
I know who I can learn Albanian from.
Who?
I have a friend actually. He knows people.
Great. Great. You must know only one Albanian, and then all the Albanians are gonna be your friends, Clayton, just so you know.
Actually, I know two.
And you are already set up, believe me.
Trust me, that is very, very true. I can't wait to meet everybody else over there, but I've learned so much about Albania and how cool it is, and it will be good times.
Yes, yes, for sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing, everyone. Thank you so much for your time today. Apologize, we went 2 minutes over. I know Duquesne is really a stickler about time. Clay, go ahead and sign us off.
Let's just wait another 10 minutes to really rub Duquesne the wrong way.
Look, as a teacher, you kept the students after 2 minutes, and you had a riot. It was the end of the world.
Let me sound a bell. Nope. Konnichiwa, my friends.
Oh my gosh.